Hey there, it's me again. I wanted to come do a video today about dating and women baiting men with sex. I believe they call it thirst traps. So I'm making this video because I'm currently single and I've started thinking about dating again. I won't say dating again, but considering dating again. So I wanted to talk about rules that I follow and go by in dating. One of the no-nos to dating is advertising sex and trying to bait men with sex, because if you bait them with sex, then that's all they're going to want, and once they get that, then they're done. They have achieved the goal. They achieved and got what was offered on the table for them. And I had a friend specifically who continuously did this, and she would explain to me how later on, after things were done, who's that blowing a horn like that, like they literally laying on the horn. But anyway, after the deed was done, they would turn disrespectful or just disappear on her completely, and she could not understand and get it for the life of her. And then as I started paying attention, because back then I had a Facebook page, we were Facebook friends. She would constantly make posts about being horny, about needing someone like to lay next to at night. She would, of course, post provocative pictures. So these are all things that men are going to look at and be like, oh, okay, so she's ready, she's open. Let me, slide in, holler at her. And even if, it's in your neighborhood or somebody who you work with and you're throwing sex at them in a way to make them know that you're interested or looking for someone, then they're going to slide in and be exactly whatever it is that they feel you want them to be or need them to be to get what was offered on the table. So I don't think that it's smart for a woman to bait men using sex, because then you will end up being ultimately used for sex. You want to connect with men on a mental, emotional level. Because sex, of course they're going to want sex, and that can come later. But if you're looking for a relationship and want to possibly grow and build to marriage, children, then you don't want to advertise sex. You want to connect on a mental, emotional level. Make sure there's respect, already there, mutual respect between the two, things in common, things of that sort, before you go off into making things sexual. And when I date, I know a lot of people say, oh, nothing's wrong with having sex on the first night, or the third date, it's okay to have sex now, or a 3-month rule. And you hear a lot of these things that people say, and you actually shouldn't go by any of that, because a man who's only looking for sex will do and pretend to be whoever he needs to be to get that. That's number one. Number two, it can cause, not all men, some men have married and had successful relationships with women who they slept with on the first night. So not all men, but a lot of men, it may cause them to not respect you or look at you as the type of woman that they will want to settle down with if you so freely put sex on the table very soon. So it's not smart to do it that way either. And a lot of people aren't aware, but sex, the deed of sex, is a spiritual act. It is not just a physical act that you do. It is spiritual. You two share more than DNA. You share each other's spirit, soul ties. And a lot of people aren't emotionally or mentally aware or mature enough to understand how deep sex actually goes, which is another reason why you should not look at it as just trading gum, because you're trading much more than that. So build a relationship first, and that'll also let you know the intentions of the guy. If he's really interested in you, he really wants you, then he's going to endure and wait until it's time. He's going to put a title on it first. Well, you should make him put a title on it first, and he's going to be willing to do that if he's really interested in you. And I always looked at it as a good means to be able to weed out men who were up to no good, because, right, if they're just looking for a quick lay, they're not going to be willing to do all this groundwork and do all this waiting, and all they wanted was sex. It's going to weed out the bad seeds quickly, because they're going to look at it, especially if they even already in a relationship. That's another way to be able to tell. If you take your time, ladies, if he's already in a relationship, he's not going to be able to give you time like that. And if all he wanted was sex, he's going to be like, okay, this is taking too much for me just to get what I want. So that's going to wean him off, where he's going to going on about his business, since he can't be he can't carry on a steady courtship with you. And even a guy who, let's say, isn't really that interested in you or isn't ready to settle down, all these signs are going to show the longer you, I ain't gonna say the longer, the more you make sure a steady foundation is being laid for the relationship, as far as verbal contact, eye contact, getting to know each other, learning each other before sex is involved. Because sex also confuses things. It can cause you to stay in a relationship much longer than what you really should have. It can cause you to put up with things that you normally wouldn't put up with. It can weigh down on your self-esteem. I'm a woman. A lot of you are women. I'm sure that you all at some point have experienced having a sexual relationship with a guy and then feeling pretty low or worthless or worse off after having sex with him than before. And these are the reasons that you should most definitely wait before having sex and make sure that you're in a secure relationship first, because that's what it will do. It will have you feeling less about yourself after the deed is done, if you don't already have the mental and emotional connection with this person and don't already have a secure relationship with the title. So a lot of people put times on how long you should wait, and I don't think it's a matter of just putting a certain time that they have to pass. That's why you have a lot of people who got these 3-month relationships. Every year they got 4 boyfriends, because every 3 months, when they finally said, okay, it's been this long, I'm going to go ahead and have sex with him, and then he's cut off and acting up right after then, because he was willing to wait the 3 months. So you want to really make sure that all those other things are aligned before you take into a sexual relationship. So that means we are getting to know each other. We like things about each other. I know your interests. I know your full name. I know where you live, where you work. Even met family members, no family members. You talk in future tense concerning us. These are all things that women should pay attention to when dating a guy. If a guy is telling you he's just looking for a friend, he's not looking for anything serious, believe him. Don't think that something is going to change that. And also, ladies, if you know you're actually looking for a relationship, tell the truth about that. Don't tell a guy that all you're looking for is friendship or having fun, because he's going to make you hold to that. And if he tells you that, he plans on holding to that. So believe him if he's telling you he's not looking for a relationship, and be honest with yourself and with any man that you're dating about what your intentions are and what you actually want. And pay attention to make sure that when they speak of your relationship and the future ahead, that it is a we and us, and they're talking future tense. And those are signs that you will be able to tell if the guy is serious about you before you already go open your legs. And don't get me wrong, like, it's plenty of other things that you can do outside of actually performing the act of sex. You can still have fun, take it back to them high school, middle school days. Make out, have fun, but tell them, no, we're not going any further than this point until we're in a committed relationship with one another. And one of the things that I have learned to do now that I'm getting older is I'm not going to waste anyone's time or let anyone waste my time. If it's a guy and I'm aware I'm not actually interested in you, but okay, I might be bored and be like, oh,